Greetings, my fellow travelers on the path of discovery. I am profoundly honored to welcome you to the very first day of our 30-day Wisdom Quest. This isn't merely a series of daily lessons. It is a meticulously crafted journey designed to ignite your inner spark, dismantle old limitations, and forge a new blueprint for a life brimming with purpose, resilience, and profound fulfillment. For the next month, we will delve into the profound depths of human wisdom, from ancient philosophies that have shaped civilizations to cutting-edge psychological insights that illuminate the workings of our modern minds. Our world today is saturated with information, yet starved of true wisdom. We are constantly bombarded with opinions, facts, and perceived certainties. In this cacophony, it's easy for our minds to become cluttered, rigid, and resistant to genuine insight. That's precisely why we begin today, on this pivotal day 1, with a concept that is simultaneously ancient and profoundly relevant: the beginner's mind, or Shoshin, as it is known in the venerable tradition of Zen Buddhism. This is not just a starting point. It is the fundamental attitude that will unlock every subsequent lesson in this quest. Part 1. Unpacking Shoshin, the essence of pure potential and unlearning. Imagine, for a moment, the boundless curiosity of a child. Every leaf discovered, every drop of rain, every new face encountered is met with unadulterated wonder. There are no preconceptions, no ingrained cynicism, no weary echoes of past failures or successes. Just an open, eager, and unfiltered engagement with the present moment. This, my friends, is the vivid embodiment of Shoshin, the beginner's mind. The term Shoshin comes from the Japanese Zen Buddhist tradition. Sho means first or beginning, and Shin means mind or heart. So, it literally translates to first mind or beginner's heart. Its essence lies in approaching any situation, be it a new task, an old relationship, or a complex problem, with the same fresh curiosity, openness, and lack of preconceptions that a novice would bring. It's an attitude that consciously sets aside preconceived notions, opinions, and even one's own expertise to truly see things as they are. Think about the last time you truly started something from scratch. Perhaps learning a new language, attempting a new sport, or entering a completely unfamiliar professional field. How did you feel? You were likely humble, receptive to instruction, eager to absorb every piece of information, and perhaps even comfortable with making mistakes. This humble willingness to learn, this receptive vulnerability, is the very crucible in which the most profound growth takes place. The paradox of knowledge is one of life's most profound ironies. While we spend years accumulating facts, skills, and experiences, becoming experts in various domains, this very accumulation can, inadvertently, become a cage. As our mental cup fills with data, theories, and personal history, it can become rigid, resistant to novelty, and even blind to the subtle truths that an uncluttered mind might easily perceive. We begin to rely on established frameworks, automatic judgments, and what we think we know, rather than truly seeing what is. This is not to diminish the immense value of expertise, but rather to highlight its potential shadow side, the propensity to inhibit true insight and adaptability. Consider what cognitive psychology refers to as functional fixedness, a cognitive bias that limits a person to using an object only in the way it is traditionally used. If you see a hammer, you think nail. You might miss its potential as a paperweight, a lever, or a doorstop. Similarly, our expert minds can fall victim to this, seeing only familiar solutions to problems, or only familiar narratives in people, preventing us from discovering innovative breakthroughs or understanding deeper truths. We develop mental models, heuristics, and biases that, while efficient, can also constrain our perception and limit our potential. This brings us back to that timeless Zen parable, the one about the professor and the teacup. It's a powerful illustration of the challenge posed by the expert mind, a venerable university professor renowned for his vast academic accomplishments and intellectual prowess, traveled a great distance to meet a humble Zen master. The professor, eager to grasp the essence of Zen, immediately launched into a monologue, detailing his extensive knowledge of philosophy, his numerous academic theories, and the many books he had read on various spiritual traditions. He spoke with authority, barely pausing for breath, demonstrating his formidable intellect. The Zen master listened with serene patience, offering a subtle smile. After a while, he began to prepare tea. He picked up the teapot and slowly, deliberately, began to pour the steaming tea into the professor's cup. He poured until the cup was full, but then, to the professor's increasing astonishment, he continued to pour. The tea flowed over the rim, spilled onto the saucer, and cascaded onto the table, creating a small puddle. "It's overflowing," cried the professor, finally interrupting his own discourse, his voice laced with indignation and bewilderment. "No more will go in." The Zen master calmly set down the teapot and, looking directly at the professor with compassionate eyes, said, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions, preconceptions, and speculations. How can I possibly show you Zen, or anything new for that matter, unless you first empty your cup?" This parable, echoing through centuries, is not a condemnation of knowledge, but a profound teaching on the attitude with which we hold our knowledge. If our mental cup is already brimming with what we believe to be true, with our judgments, our biases, and our established frameworks, then there is literally no space for anything new, no matter how vital, transformative, or refreshing it might be. The beginner's mind, by radical contrast, is an empty cup, always ready to receive, always open to the thrilling possibility that there is infinitely more to learn, more to experience, more to understand, and even more to unlearn. It is a mind that courageously says, "I don't know," and finds an unprecedented freedom, a boundless potential, in that honest admission. This humility, this willingness to acknowledge the vastness of what we don't know, is not a weakness. It is a profound strength. It's the very seed from which true wisdom grows. The expert mind, often inflated by ego, tends to say, "I know." And when we know, we stop looking, we stop listening, we stop questioning. We become cognitively rigid, resistant to new ideas, and profoundly less adaptable to change. In a world characterized by unprecedented velocity of change, technological, social, environmental, clinging rigidly to what we know can be the single greatest impediment to innovation, progress, and deeply personal evolution. While Shoshin is deeply rooted in Zen, similar philosophical strands exist across many traditions. The concept of tabula rasa in Western philosophy, particularly advanced by John Locke, suggests that individuals are born without built-in mental content, and all knowledge comes from experience. While not identical, it shares the spirit of starting fresh, free from inherited preconceptions. Even within scientific inquiry, the most brilliant minds maintain a form of Shoshin, constantly questioning established paradigms and being open to data that contradicts their current understanding. They operate with epistemic humility, the understanding that their current knowledge is provisional and always subject to revision. So, let me be clear. Shoshin is not about abandoning knowledge, discarding your hard-earned experience, or becoming willfully ignorant. It's about holding your knowledge lightly. It's about consciously choosing to approach every situation, every person, every challenge, every piece of information with the same innocent curiosity, eager enthusiasm, and liberating lack of preconceptions that a true novice would bring. It is about cultivating a state of perpetual learning, where every single moment holds the profound potential for a new discovery, a fresh insight, a deeper understanding. It's about being so profoundly present that you can truly see what is, rather than filtering it through the dense, often distorting layers of what you expect it to be. This unlearning is the first step towards true transformation. Part 2. Why Shoshin Matters. the profound benefits of an open heart and mind. Why should you actively cultivate this profound state of Shoshin? Why dedicate your precious time and energy to becoming a beginner again? Because the benefits ripple through every conceivable aspect of your life, dramatically enhancing your capacity for genuine learning, boundless creativity, unflinching resilience, profound connection, and unadulterated joy. 1. Enhanced learning and limitless creativity. When we approach a problem, a new skill, or a complex concept with a beginner's mind, we are not constrained by the rigid frameworks of established solutions or the often stifling grip of conventional wisdom. This liberation from cognitive ruts allows for truly lateral thinking, unconventional approaches, and authentic innovation. Consider the groundbreaking discoveries in science, the revolutionary movements in art, or the disruptive innovations in technology. They almost invariably emerge from individuals who dared to look at something familiar in a completely new way. They consciously emptied their cups, allowing a fresh perspective to flood their minds, seeing patterns and possibilities that were invisible to those mired in expert thinking. A recent study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology highlighted that individuals who adopted a more open-minded novice perspective when learning a new skill demonstrated faster acquisition rates and more creative problem-solving than those who approached it with a sense of prior expertise. This isn't just theory. It's neuroscience at play, as our brains are literally more receptive to forming new neural pathways when they are not rigidly fixed on old ones. 2. Overcoming limiting beliefs and unmasking assumptions. We all carry a heavy baggage of assumptions, ingrained narratives, and deeply rooted limiting beliefs. These are often formed from past experiences, societal conditioning, cultural norms, and even personal failures. These beliefs often whisper insidious messages like, "I can't do that. It's impossible for me. That's just how the world works," or "I'm not good enough." Shoshin is the ultimate antidote to these mental prisons. By intentionally adopting a beginner's mind, we create the vital space to question these ingrained patterns, these automatic thought loops. We can courageously ask ourselves, is this truly impossible, or is that just an assumption I've held for years without ever truly examining it? This courageous, critical inquiry dismantles self-imposed barriers, opens doors to previously unimagined possibilities, and allows us to break free from the invisible chains of our own minds. 3. Profound presence and deep mindfulness. The beginner's mind is inherently, effortlessly mindful. When you are truly a beginner, completely immersed in a novel experience, you are by necessity fully engaged with the present moment. Your awareness is anchored in what is, rather than being adrift in memories of how things should be, or consumed by anxieties about future outcomes. You are simply here, observing, listening, feeling, and experiencing with raw, unfiltered awareness. This deep state of presence is the very foundation of mindfulness, leading to significantly reduced stress, heightened clarity, improved emotional regulation, and a far richer, more vibrant experience of life itself. Imagine eating a simple meal with a beginner's mind, truly savoring each flavor, feeling the texture, appreciating the subtle aroma, experiencing the profound nourishment. This conscious act transforms a mundane daily routine into a deeply profound and satisfying experience. 4. Enhanced resilience and radical adaptability. Life is a relentless river of change. Those who are rigid in their thinking, who cling fiercely to old methods or outcomes, who resist the inevitable tides of transformation, often suffer the most during times of uncertainty, crisis, or upheaval. The beginner's mind, by its very nature, is fluid and profoundly adaptable. It doesn't cling to outdated strategies or predefined outcomes. When confronted with a setback, a challenge, or an unexpected pivot point, it doesn't immediately interpret it as a failure, but rather as a new piece of information, an unexpected turn in the path. It simply requires a fresh approach, a novel solution. This mindset fosters truly incredible resilience, allowing you to pivot gracefully, learn rapidly from adverse experiences, and grow exponentially, no matter what unprecedented challenges arise. Instead of breaking under pressure, you learn to bend, to reconfigure, and often to evolve into a far stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. 5. Deeper connections and authentic communication. How often do we truly listen to others, our partners, friends, family, colleagues, without simultaneously formulating our brilliant response, or worse, judging what they are re-saying based on past interactions, old grievances, or preconceived notions about their character? With a beginner's mind, we approach every conversation and every relationship with an open heart and an empty cup, truly ready to hear something new, to understand a perspective we haven't considered, to genuinely engage with the person in front of us, as if we are meeting them for the very first time. This radical openness fosters profound empathy, cultivates deeper mutual understanding, and facilitates far more authentic, meaningful connections. Imagine approaching a long-standing relationship, whether with a romantic partner, a family member, or a cherished friend, with the conscious intent to truly see them anew. What new things might you notice? What old narratives, what stale assumptions might you finally let go of, allowing the relationship to breathe and evolve? 6. Rediscovery of joy, wonder, and profound gratitude. Perhaps one of the most beautiful and deeply rewarding benefits of cultivating. Shoshin is the miraculous rekindling of unadulterated joy and wonder in your everyday existence. The world, when perceived without the filter of habituation, is a continuous cascade of miracles unfolding moment by moment. It is our habituated expert minds that often desensitize us to its inherent beauty, to the magic woven into the fabric of reality. When you consciously adopt the beginner's mind, you begin to see the extraordinary in the utterly ordinary again. The simple act of breathing, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the intricate pattern of a single leaf, the symphony of mundane sounds, all become profound sources of appreciation, gratitude, and awe. This isn't about forced positivity or superficial optimism. It's about authentic perception, allowing you to experience life with the inherent richness, vibrancy, and wonder it truly offers, often hidden beneath layers of assumption and routine. Part 3. Cultivating Shoshin, your practical blueprint for daily transformation. Cultivating Shoshin is not a theoretical exercise. It is a profound practice, a muscle you strengthen through conscious, consistent application. It requires intention, patience, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. It's not something you achieve and then forget. It's a lifelong commitment. Here are comprehensive, actionable strategies you can begin implementing today to invite the beginner's mind into your life. 1. The mindful observation exercise. The world through fresh eyes. This is the foundational practice. It trains your brain to break free from habitual perception and engage with raw, unfiltered experience. Choose an everyday object. Select something incredibly common that you see every single day but rarely truly perceive. It could be your coffee mug, a simple houseplant, the texture of your desk, or even your own hand. Engage all senses. For a dedicated 10 to 15 minutes, immerse yourself in this object as if you have fallen to Earth from another planet and are experiencing it for the very first time. O sight, what are its exact colors? Not just blue, but the subtle variations in hue, the way light reflects off its surface, the faint lines or imperfections. What is its precise shape? Are there hidden patterns? O touch, what does its texture feel like? Is it smooth, rough, cool, warm? How does it conform to your fingers? Notice the slightest bumps, ridges, or indentations. O sound, if you tap it gently, what sound does it make? Is it dull, resonant, hollow? O smell, does it have a subtle aroma? A faint hint of dust, of old wood, of plastic? O taste, If you chose food, follow the mindful eating guide below. Suspend judgment and labeling, the crucial step. As thoughts arise, this is just my boring old mug. I know what this is. Gently acknowledge them and then consciously let them go. Return your full attention to the raw sensory data. Don't label, just observe. Reflect and record. After the exercise, take a few minutes to journal. What did you notice that you have never noticed before, despite seeing this object countless times? How did this simple act shift your perception of this object, or even your own capacity for attention? 2. The I do and know practice. Embracing epistemic humility. This is a radical act of humility that paradoxically empowers you. Internal declaration. The next time you find yourself in a situation where you think you already have the definitive answer, the perfect solution, or can predict exactly what someone is going to say, consciously pause. Internally, or even quietly to yourself, state, I don't know. In conversations, instead of interrupting, formulating your rebuttal, or assuming you understand, genuinely listen. Allow silence. Ask open-ended, non-leading questions like, could you tell me more about that? Help me understand your perspective better. Or, what led you to that conclusion? Approach the conversation as if you have absolutely no preconceived notions about the other person or their viewpoint, even if you've known them for decades. Be genuinely curious about their evolving thoughts. In problem solving, when faced with a complex challenge, resist the powerful urge to immediately jump to the first solution that comes to mind, especially if it's a familiar one or one based on past failures. Instead, sit with the problem. Mentally declare, I don't know the single best way yet. This creates a vast, fertile space for entirely new ideas, creative breakthroughs, and unconventional possibilities to emerge. Brainstorm without judgment. 3. Asking foundational questions. The Socratic Unpacked channel your inner Socrates. Challenge the obvious and the taken for granted. Why? And what if? Apply these questions relentlessly to your routines, your work processes, your relationships, and your deeply held beliefs. Example. Why do I always take this specific, familiar route to work? What if there's a more scenic one, or a completely different mode of transport I haven't considered? Example. Why do I believe I'm inherently not a creative person? What if that's merely a label I adopted years ago, and I can choose to unlearn it? Example. Why is this meeting structured this way? What if we tried a completely different format that challenged our usual assumptions about collaboration? This relentless, childlike questioning is a powerful tool for chipping away at assumptions and revealing deeper, often hidden truths. 4. Stepping outside your expertise. The true beginner as arena. Intentionally put yourself in situations where you are genuinely a novice. This is where Shoshin is forged in fire. Learn a completely new skill. Take up a new language, an instrument you've never touched, a new sport, a challenging craft. Embrace the initial awkwardness, the inevitable mistakes, the slow, often frustrating progress. Remind yourself that this is precisely what it feels like to be a true beginner, and relish the pure, unadulterated learning process. Celebrate your small victories. Explore a new field discipline. Read books, watch documentaries, or take an introductory online course on subjects you know absolutely nothing about. Quantum physics, ancient Roman history, mycology, astrophysics, indigenous cultures. Approach them with genuine curiosity, not looking for quick answers or to become an expert overnight, but simply for the sake of understanding and expanding your mental landscape. This widens your cognitive net. 5. Journaling for unlearning. A daily mental detox. Dedicate a specific portion of your daily journaling to actively identifying, examining, and challenging your limiting beliefs and unconscious assumptions. Daily prompts. What's one thing I think I know about myself, my abilities, or the world around me that might not be entirely true or might be limiting my potential? Oh, where in my daily life am I clinging to old ways of doing things, old thought patterns, or old reactions, even if they're no longer serving my highest good? Oh, if I approached a specific challenge, a difficult relationship, a stagnant project, as if I knew absolutely nothing about it, as if I were a fresh observer, what new possibilities, solutions, or pathways might suddenly emerge? Oh, what assumptions am I making about a specific person, a current situation, a future outcome, right now that could be preventing me from seeing the full picture? Oh, what knowledge or belief would I be willing to empty from my cup today to make room for something new? 6. Sensory awareness practice. Re-engaging with the world's richness. This is a deeper dive into embodied mindfulness, helping you to bypass the conceptual mind and reconnect with direct experience. Mindful eating. Choose a single piece of fruit, a square of chocolate, or even just a raisin. Before putting it in your mouth, spend several minutes just observing it. Notice its precise color, its texture, its unique shape, the way light plays on its surface. Bring it to your nose and inhale its full, complex aroma. What notes do you detect? Now place it on your tongue, but do not chew immediately. Notice the initial taste, how it feels on your tongue, the sensation of saliva. Then slowly begin to chew, noticing how the flavor profile changes, how the texture transforms, how it feels as it moves through your mouth. Swallow mindfully, sensing its path. Do not rush. Mindful listening. Sit in silence for 5 to 10 minutes. Go beyond just hearing sounds. Can you distinguish individual sounds? The distant hum of traffic, the chirping of a bird, the subtle creak of your house settling, the beating of your own heart? Try to listen to the space between sounds. Don't label them, just notice their presence and absence. Notice how your mind might try to identify or analyze them, and gently return to pure, non-judgmental listening. Mindful walking. As you walk, turn off autopilot. Feel the sensation of your feet connecting with the ground. Notice the subtle shifts in balance. Feel the air on your skin. Observe the intricate details of your surroundings, the texture of a sidewalk crack, the unique pattern of a tree bark, the changing colors of the sky. Engage all your senses as if it's the very first time you've ever walked this path. 7. Actively challenging your own assumptions. The growth edge. This practice requires intellectual humility and courage, but it is profoundly rewarding. Seek out dissenting views. If you strongly believe X, actively seek out well-reasoned arguments for not X. Don't do it to argue, to debate, or to win a point. Do it purely to understand. Read books, articles, or listen to podcasts from perspectives you typically avoid or disagree with. Engage in Socratic dialogue. Find a trusted friend or mentor and engage in a Socratic dialogue on a topic where you have strong opinions. Let them question your assumptions, not with the goal of proving you wrong, but with the goal of exploring the foundations of your beliefs. The "what if I'm wrong?" contemplation. Before taking a strong stance or making a significant decision, pause and sincerely ask yourself, what if my current understanding is incomplete or entirely wrong? Spend time contemplating the implications of that possibility. This opens your mind to alternative truths. These practices, consistently applied, will begin to rewire your brain, making Shoshin a more natural and accessible state. Part 4. Shoshin in Action. Real-world transformations and unseen opportunities. The beginners. Mind isn't merely a philosophical abstraction. It is a potent, practical tool that has fueled revolutions and transformations across every domain imaginable, from scientific discovery to personal healing, innovation and business paradigms. Let's revisit the iconic story of Airbnb. When co-founders Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia faced rejection after rejection from investors, the conventional wisdom screamed, people will never want to stay in strangers' homes. This is absurd. Their expert minds, if they had allowed them to dominate, would have surrendered to this pervasive skepticism. But they applied a radical form of Shoshin. Instead of clinging to the established hotel industry's model, they questioned every assumption. They went to their actual users, observed them, and discovered the core unmet needs, not just a bed, but authentic local experiences, a sense of belonging, and a way to earn extra income. They didn't assume they knew what travelers really wanted. They learned by being open, humble, and observant. This beginner's mindset allowed them to create an entirely new industry by challenging deeply ingrained notions of hospitality and accommodation. Consider EDO, the legendary global design and innovation company. Their entire methodology, which has spawned countless iconic products and services, is built upon a principle akin to Shoshin, radical empathy and the deliberate suspension of judgment during the crucial brainstorming and ideation phases. They rigorously train their designers to approach every problem with fresh eyes, to observe users without any preconceived notions, and to generate ideas freely, no matter how outlandish or impossible they may seem at first, before any filtering or critique begins. This beginner's mindset, enshrined in their process, is directly correlated to their consistent ability to generate groundbreaking, user-centered innovations. Healthcare and medicine. In medicine, the expert mind can sometimes lead to diagnostic fixedness, where a doctor, based on initial symptoms or prior similar cases, locks onto a diagnosis too quickly, potentially missing subtle but critical alternative possibilities. A physician cultivating Shoshin, however, approaches each patient not as another case of X, but as a unique individual presenting a unique constellation of symptoms. They remain open to new information, question initial assumptions, and are willing to explore less common diagnoses, even if it challenges their vast experience. This beginner's openness can literally save lives. Education and pedagogy. Effective teaching requires a teacher to approach each student with a beginner's mind. Assuming a student understands, or assuming they are incapable, based on past performance or reputation, is a common pitfall. A teacher with Shoshin observes, listens, and adapts, constantly asking, "How can I best reach this individual student today?" rather than relying solely on tried and true methods that may not be effective for every learner. This fosters personalized learning and unlocks potential. Art, creativity, and performance. Many great artists consciously employ Shoshin. Picasso, for example, famously said, "Every child is an artist." The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. He continually reinvented his style, never resting on his laurels or becoming fixed in one mode of expression. He embraced a beginner's fearlessness, daring to experiment and unlearn traditional techniques to create something truly novel. Similarly, in music, a seasoned musician might practice a well-known piece as if they are learning it for the first time, uncovering new nuances, new emotional depths, and fresh interpretations that an expert might overlook. Relationships and conflict resolution. In the realm of interpersonal dynamics, the expert mind manifests as stubbornness, the inability to forgive, or the tendency to hold onto old narratives about people. "I know how they are," we might say, or "they always do X." This rigidity stifles growth and genuine connection. When conflict arises, approaching it with Shoshin means being willing to hear the other person's perspective as if for the very first time, to acknowledge that you might not know the full story, and to be open to a resolution that transcends your preconceived notions of winning. This openness is the key to true reconciliation and building stronger, more resilient relationships. Personal transformation and overcoming adversity. Any significant personal breakthrough, any deep habit change, or any journey of self-mastery hinges on the willingness to unlearn. If you carry the belief that you are not a morning person, or bad with money, or incapable of learning new things, you will find these narratives manifesting as self-fulfilling prophecies. Shoshin radically asks you to challenge these deeply ingrained self-imposed labels. When you embark on a new personal development journey, whether it's building a new healthy habit, mastering emotional regulation, overcoming an addiction, or pursuing a long-held dream, starting with a beginner's mind means being profoundly open to the process, even when it feels uncomfortable, awkward, or frustrating. Releasing the urge to constantly compare yourself to others, or even to a past, idealized version of yourself. Acknowledging mistakes, missteps, and setbacks not as failures, but as invaluable feedback and powerful learning opportunities. Remaining endlessly curious about your own inner workings, your reactions, your patterns, and your boundless potential. This allows for genuine, sustainable, and truly transformative growth because you are no longer fighting against a rigid, limiting internal narrative. When adversity strikes, the expert mind might default to, "This is impossible," "I'm a victim," or "Why me?" The beginner's mind, however, asks, "What is this situation teaching me? What new path or strength is opening up that I couldn't see before? How can I approach this challenge with fresh eyes and a willingness to try something entirely different? Something I never thought possible?" It transforms what would otherwise be a dead end into a pivotal turning point, an unforeseen opportunity for profound growth and self-discovery. Part 5. The Journey Ahead, Shoshin as a Lifelong Practice and Catalyst for Wisdom. Shoshin is not a destination you arrive at, a skill you master, and then simply tick off your list. It is a continuous, dynamic practice, a daily, conscious choice. Our world is in a constant state of flux, and so too are we, evolving creatures. To remain truly alive, adaptable, insightful, and wise, we must consistently dust off our minds, consciously empty our cups, and diligently cultivate that innate childlike wonder and profound openness. It is the very engine of lifelong learning. This concept of a beginner's mind is foundational. It's not just the first step. It is the fertile ground upon which all other wisdom, all other transformative practices can take root, flourish, and bear fruit. Without the radical openness, the insatiable curiosity, and the profound humility that Shoshin embodies our incredible journey through the next 29 days as we explore the purposeful path of Ikigai, the resilient strength of Stoicism, the profound tranquility of mindfulness, the liberating power of forgiveness, and so much more would risk becoming merely an intellectual exercise, a collection of facts without genuine application. But with Shoshin, every subsequent lesson becomes a deeply transformative experience, a living wisdom that you can truly absorb, integrate, and apply directly to the tapestry of your life. Think of it as preparing your vessel for a grand voyage. Before you can fill it with precious knowledge, invaluable tools, and transformative practices, you must first ensure that it is empty, clean, and supremely ready to receive. That, my friends, is the profound purpose of Day 1. It is about cultivating the fundamental readiness to truly learn, to profoundly grow, and to be gloriously, radically changed. It is about remembering that true wisdom doesn't reside in having all the answers, but in the profound courage to constantly ask new questions and be open to entirely new possibilities. Conclusion and your invitation to continuous transformation. As we draw this inaugural session of our Wisdom Quest to a close, I extend to you a profound invitation. Make a conscious commitment to practice Shoshin in at least one specific area of your life, starting right now, today. Whether it is how you savor your next meal, how you engage in a conversation you typically dread, how you approach a challenging task at work, or simply how you observe the natural world around you, consciously try to engage with it through the fresh, unfiltered lens of a beginner. Share your awakening. I am deeply eager to hear your initial insights. In the comments section below, please tell me, what is one specific area of your life where you now feel your mental cup might be full? And how do you intend to consciously empty it and apply the power of the beginner as mind today? Your personal reflections are not just for me. They are an invaluable source of inspiration and connection for this rapidly growing community of wisdom seekers. Fuel our quest. If this deep dive into Shoshin has sparked a flicker of recognition or ignited a new thought within you, please consider liking this video. Your engagement helps our wisdom quest reach more souls who are yearning for transformation. Join our ongoing journey. This is merely the prologue to an extraordinary adventure. Our 30-day challenge is meticulously designed to unfold, each day building upon the last, leading to profound, lasting change. Do not miss a single transformative session. Subscribe to the Wisdom Quest channel right now and ensure you hit that notification bell so you are immediately alerted as soon as day 2 goes live. Tomorrow, on day 2 of our Wisdom Quest, we will embark on another deeply enriching philosophical journey as we explore the timeless Japanese philosophy of Ikigai, the secret to a long and happy life, discovering your unique purpose. Get ready to delve into the very core of your being, to articulate your true reason for being, and to find profound meaning and fulfillment. Thank you, truly, for joining me on day 1. Remember, the path to the greatest wisdom begins not with the illusion of knowing everything, but with the boundless humility, radical openness, and unyielding curiosity of the beginner's mind. Embrace your Shoshin and prepare to be utterly amazed by the boundless discoveries that await you. Until tomorrow, keep seeking, keep growing, and may your wisdom quest be profoundly illuminating.